Dear viewers, for PMP exam preparation, in this video actually we will be focusing on lesson 6, that is how to close a project, how to close a phase. So the title is Close the Project, lesson 6. So in lesson 6 actually there are three aspects: how to close a project, number 1. Number 2 is how to realize the benefits, we call it benefit realization. And number 3 is how to transfer the knowledge, so knowledge transfer. These three parts we will be discussing in this video. So lesson 6, close the project. So why projects or phases are closed? Of course, after the fulfillment of the vision, the objectives are met, we close a project. But there are two terms. One is acceptance criteria, and another is definition of done. Sorry. Acceptance criteria is a set of conditions that is required to be met before deliverables are accepted. So I have produced a deliverables from the project, so the stakeholders must accept it. If they accept it, that means the acceptance criteria are met in terms of quality, cost, schedule, scope. If everything met by the stakeholders, by the customer, that means acceptance criteria are met. And another topic is definition of done, DUD, a team's checklist of all the criteria required to be met so that deliverables can be considered ready for customer use. So in Agile approach, actually we say it definition of done, DUD. So in the predictive approach, you see in the above, in the predictive approach, stakeholders accept deliverables based on acceptance criteria established at the beginning of the project in a project management plan. So acceptance criteria can be modified during the project life cycle, but we should use the requirement traceability metrics to ensure the completion and approval of all requirements. On the other hand, in adaptive approach, at the end of each iteration, the team and stakeholders assess the product or service against their mutually agreed definition of done. So final acceptance occur prior to the product release. So if definition of done, all the criteria set by all the stakeholders met in each iteration, we call it definition of done. So acceptance criteria and definition of done express the same status of stakeholder satisfaction with the product. So in the predictive approach, we call it acceptance criteria. In the Agile approach, we call it definition of done. So why close? Sometimes it occurs that premature closure or forcefully the project is closed. Why? Because sometimes the situation is such that requirements or need changes, or the project deliverables is no longer feasible, or the internal organization makes a change in their decision, or external environment like legal or changes are there, so that we cannot implement this project. So project or deliverables is no longer desirable by the stakeholders, and many other uncontrollable impediments may encounter, or financial support is not available to complete these requirements, or the risk with significant consequences makes successful completion impossible. So if these are the situation, in that case we are forced to close the project premature level. However, if we can fulfill the definition done or acceptance criteria, actually we are ready to close the project. For closing, first we should find the acceptance of deliverables or product by the customer, or transition of deliverables or product to customer. And in this case, we should notify the enterprise and organizational functions We should update organizational process assets. We can prepare the final report, a summary of the project's information on performance, scope, schedule, quality, cost, and risk. So final report should be prepared. And we can conclude external obligations like legal, regulatory, contractual aspects, transfer of liability, closure of all accounts in financial system. So should be ready. And we can archive project information, and we can release resources like human, financial resources, or physical assets, equipments. We can release them. And these activities are part of the closed project or phase processes are typically included in the project management plan within the WBS work breakdown structure under the project management function. So before closing, there are some transition and handover time. Some organizations use a rollout or transition plan. This is not the project management plan component. So deliverables are handed to the customer or owner, and transition handover specifications for deliverables are in the project management plan. So a tailored situation, a tailored solution that deliver value most likely in an incremental way to the organization. So every iteration output is handed to the product owner. So first we should check the readiness of transition or handover. We should ensure the customer is ready for change and success. We should check the readiness may require additional change management activities to ensure adoption or overcome resistance, especially in critical situations if an existing product or service is being upgraded. So we should assess the readiness of all parties, end users, the business, the project team, and the support staff. And what are the activities in transition and handover? Effective transition or handovers of deliverables or products enable end user awareness, increasing the likelihood of successful adoption and therefore of benefit realization. Transition requirements can include training on the new product or service, documentation for the product deliverables, effective communication between the project team and the organization, post-implementation support, and where are the transition requirements recorded in a predicted project that should be answered. So we must pay all the payments before closing the project. So what should you do? We should notify the appropriate entity, usually accounts payable, when work has been fulfilled and contracts can be paid. We should pay suppliers or vendors in accordance with the contract terms. And what should we don't do? We should not do delay any making delay in payments until project or phase closure, unless specified in the contract. So we should pay all the things if everything is fine. Some payments may have been made during the project and the contracts may have been closed. So to finalize the project, to finalize the contract, we should archive contract means collecting, indexing and filling some documents. For example, contract schedule, scope, quality, cost of performance, contract change documentation, payment records and financial documents, inspection results, as built or as developed, documents, manuals, troubleshooting and technical documentation. So now we will be focusing on benefit realization, how we can realize the benefits, early and long-term benefits realizations. So benefits accrue at various stages depending on project life cycle used, nature of the project work, the intended outcomes. These are the consideration. So we should ask, can we identify a type of project in which value is delivered very early, and a project in which value is delivered months or even years? So we can compare how we have earned or not. You can see here the responsibilities. Project manager can see, is there any improvement or modification to deliver benefits in a new project. In agile approach, product owner can see any improvements or modification to delivered benefits are proposed as work for the next future iteration and placed reprioritization on the backlog. In the hybrid approach, organizations and teams tailor solutions for benefit realization and sustainment, that is post-implementation support. Now we should explain the benefit transition or sustainment. You can see the slide here. Project team actually can see how project team can deliver benefits to customer organization. Customer should ensure continued generation of improvements and delivered benefits. They can capture additional customer inputs. Product owner or project manager works with customer to identify work required for desired improvements. Project team provides planned performance data, and customer compares actual performance to planned performance including KPIs. Product owner or project manager uses metrics chosen with team to measure performance. Project team works with business owner to suggest benefits realization metrics including frequency and monitoring responsibilities. Customer implements benefit realization metrics at sustainable intervals tailored to needs. Product owner or project manager collaborates with team to determine suitable metrics. Project team actually determines if any remaining risk might prevent benefit achievement. Customer identifies risk, processes and tools needed to ensure continued benefits realization. Product owner, project manager monitors risk on impediments log and collaboration with team and responses. So we should make a benefit management plan. What is it? It's a business document developed by the organization to define potential benefit from the project effort. It's a major input to authorizing the project. Benefit management plan examines the requested benefits and determines if both the tangible and intangible business value will be realized from the project. Benefit management plan can determine the time frame for short and long-term benefits realization. It also can identify a benefit owner responsible for achieving the benefits, including metrics or measurement to be used, which individuals or group measure results. In the plan, determine whether any remaining project risk might prevent benefit achievements. When key stakeholders are identifying desired project benefits, let them suggest how the benefits should be measured. So the benefit owner should work with project manager team lead during the project to ensure planned benefits are managed as they are delivered. Benefit owner also assists in transitioning the requested benefits to the receiving organizations. And owner also ensures that measurement metrics and methods are established and monitored. Benefits owner also reports to the management on the realized result of the delivered benefits. So a benefit owner may be a business analyst, can be a sponsor or a operation manager. So the product owner is responsible for making sure project work reaps benefits for the organization. So we should verify the benefit realization. We can be using the chosen metrics. The product owner reports on progress for each tangible benefits. For intangible benefits, a subjective qualitative determination may be more useful. Reporting should include for tangible benefits, progress toward being met, or any benefits at risk of not being realized as planned, any resulting negative impact on strategic objectives, potential ending of the project team's support. In a predictive project, once the transition is complete, who is responsible for verifying that benefits are realized? PMO. Now we should focus on knowledge transfer. So before closing, we should do the knowledge management. We can conduct retrospective or final lesson learned meetings. We can archive all project information. We can add the lessons learned to the knowledge management lesson learned repository. We can make a transition knowledge from project team to the customer. So what is lesson learned register? It's a project document used to record knowledge gained during the project. So whatever we have learned from the project, we should write it in the register. That's called lesson learned register. And what is lesson learned repository? A central store of historical lessons, learned information from various projects across jurisdiction. So it's a bigger store database from previous all the projects we kept can keep the lesson learning. But what we get from one project we keep in the register. That's called lesson learned register. So we should conduct a project retrospective, internalize learning about work product and processes. We can capture key success and challenges. We should consider qualitative people's feelings and understandings and quantitative measurement data. We can use data to find root causes, design countermeasures, and develop action plans for next time. So we should praise, congratulate, and motivate the team who is successful. And an agile team might conduct a final retrospective, while a project manager holds a final all hands meeting for the team in a predictive life cycle. These are similar ceremonies for closing a project or phase. So before finalizing, we should finalize the lesson learned. We can include the following topics from the project's lesson learned register in the final report. From the lesson register, we can take these things like scope changes, schedule impacts, risk and issues, stakeholder relationships, vendor relationship, artifacts, and recommendations. So we should consolidate all lessons learned. The following categories of lessons learned information are especially important at the end of the project. How we manage the scheduling, how we successful in conflict management, how was the sellers, what about the customers, strategic points, and tactical decisions. Transfer these into the lesson learned repository. So this is the final report. In a final report, we can make a summary. In summary, these are the issues or subjects we should include. Description of the project, describe activity undertaken, include deliverables and milestones. Scope objectives, document scope evaluation criteria and gives evidence and met completion criteria. Quality objectives, see the quality measurement criteria and see how it was met. Cost objectives, check cost and see that whether it was as per plan or is there any variance. Validation information, schedule objectives, benefit realization, risk and issues encountered. So all the key issues should be in the report before closing the project. And this is the last part of our discussion for PMP examination. So till now, I have cleared all the 6 lessons on PMP exam preparation. Thank you so much for being with me.